Daniel Ricciardo views his move to McLaren as his best shot yet at a Formula 1 title. The 7-time Grand Prix winner has enthusiastically kicked off his McLaren career with his first taste of the team's new MCL35M at a shakedown at Silverstone. Ricciardo's new season optimism seems quite bold given his move from Red Bull to Renault proved ill-judged and McLaren still hasn't won a race since 2012. Make sure you're subscribed to the race to see how the first part of the Ricciardo-McLaren story develops this year, but let's look at why Ricciardo is now betting on the team he snubbed in the summer of 2018 and why that confidence is justified. Ricciardo says McLaren is doing what it takes to be a real contender in the championship, and he believes he is with a team he will eventually fight for the Formula 1 title with. That's quite a change given Ricciardo rejected McLaren in favour of Renault when he decided to leave Red Bull in 2018. Now he's so convinced by the McLaren project that he signed a 3-year deal. That newfound confidence is rooted in the fact that the foundation work at McLaren has already been done. The team scored 3 podiums in the 2 seasons since Ricciardo chose not to join, but its off-track progress has been as important. When the team was trying to convince Ricciardo back in 2018, everything it had to offer was hypothetical. The management would change, a better technical structure would exist, investments would be made, and the team's form would improve. Since then, McLaren has lived up to every word. The team is being run by Andreas Seidel, who Ricciardo rates very highly, calling him a massive asset. Ricciardo's old Toro Rosso technical director James Key is now in charge of the technical side at McLaren, and a lot of awkward truths have been faced up to since the disappointment of 2018, when McLaren learned it wasn't only Honda that had held it back in the preceding years. There have also been major commitments to infrastructure projects like a new wind tunnel and simulator, while the team also secured fresh investment late last year to ensure it will run at the top of F1's new budget cap from 2021 onwards. Combine that with an impressive upturn in results on track, culminating in 4th in the Constructors' Championship in 2019 and 3rd in the Championship last year, and the bottom line is that McLaren is now a completely different prospect to what it was a few years ago. And as Ricciardo describes it, he's just fitting into the puzzle now as opposed to trying to put it all together. For this positivity to translate into Ricciardo's ultimate aim of winning the title, McLaren needs to deliver where Red Bull and Renault couldn't. Ricciardo's swift decision to abandon Renault before a race had even been run in his 2nd season with the team shows how little faith he had in that project. So McLaren topping what is now Alpine is not a daunting challenge. Overhauling Red Bull in the medium term is. But McLaren has the momentum and opportunity for Ricciardo to be genuinely optimistic. Though the honour of sniping for victories does outstrip battling in the midfield, Ricciardo will reassure himself that he's won as many titles away from Red Bull as he would have done if he'd stayed. Red Bull looked no closer to fighting for a world championship in the 2 years without Ricciardo than it did in its half-decade with him. And across the entire V6 turbo hybrid era, Red Bull has converted precisely 0 of its strong end-of-season finishes into a sustained title challenge the following year. Meanwhile, McLaren is on the up. It's still expanding and therefore has reason to improve, while Red Bull is contracting to meet the budget cap that's being enforced from this season and may be reined in as a result. At McLaren, Ricciardo will also have use of the title-winning Mercedes engine for the first time, and that comes when Red Bull has had to take its engine situation into its own hands. Taking over Honda's engine project with its own company and potentially building its own engine in the future is a bold move for Red Bull that might well pay off. But it's stepping into something of an unknown just as McLaren switches to F1's most tried and tested engine package. McLaren has not only rediscovered some of its old swagger, it's also striding confidently towards a new era of F1 that presents an opportunity Ricciardo's Red Bull and Renault stints lacked. F1 could change considerably in 2022 with the introduction of all new technical rules. They will come after a year of F1's benchmark Mercedes being reined in by a first ever budget cap and an aerodynamic testing handicap restricting the development time for the more successful teams. These are crucial external factors that will influence the competitive order, which means the prospect of McLaren disrupting the status quo can be more of an expectation than a hope. And Ricciardo says that McLaren has set itself up perfectly for these changes, which is what excites him more than anything. He insisted he never doubted Renault's ambition or its plan, but there's a lot more to believe in at McLaren, which is why it represents the opportunity Ricciardo thought he was initially trading Red Bull for a couple of years ago. Before the real opportunity of Ricciardo's McLaren move arises, 2021 will be a year of realistic aims. McLaren will seek to consolidate its place as F1's most upwardly mobile team after finishing third in the championship last year, and Ricciardo's hoping to finish on the podium. The work to achieve that has started in earnest, and Ricciardo says McLaren has welcomed him with open arms. There's a serious and detailed integration process underway, with the end goal being that at the first race in Bahrain, Ricciardo doesn't feel like it's only his first race with the team. McLaren boss Seidel says he's very happy with what he's seen, though Ricciardo admits that properly fitting in is a big challenge when it comes to adjusting to a new team. He wants to feel like he can sit in any room at McLaren and be listened to, and accepts that will take some time to achieve. And he might lean on new teammate Lando Norris, 10 years his junior, to help with elements of that. Despite dwarfing Norris in terms of F1 experience, Ricciardo knows that the 21-year-old is the one with experience of how McLaren works and reckons there are some things he can learn from him. Nonetheless, Ricciardo will likely be up to speed quickly and getting the most out of his machinery long before it's quite good enough to score regular podiums, let alone wins or a title. Seidel says McLaren still needs time to get onto terms with a team like Mercedes, and that until then it will have limitations. But even with those, McLaren and Ricciardo are talking in terms of when, not if, it will take the final key steps to being a top-line team again. And that's what has Ricciardo viewing this as his best shot at becoming world champion. Do you think he'll achieve that at McLaren? And what do you expect from his first year with the team in 2021? Let us know in the comments and give this video a like if you enjoyed it. Make sure you're subscribed to the race and have notifications turned on so you don't miss another video from us in the future.